And so the way I look at it is, even when I see black, I mean pitch black, I guess, you know, I still try to look at it, look at the reflection of the lights, and then the temperature, and even maybe the penguin's mood or my mood. I don't know. But my point is, you know, black is not all black. Sometimes it's red black. Sometimes it's blue black. You know, it really all depends on it really all depends on, you know, at that moment, whether it's from live or video or picture, but especially when you're drawing from life, it's so critical that you try to look at it as an honest perspective as possible. And believe it or not, sometimes what you're looking at sometimes it's not even, you know, you're looking at the black, but it's not even black. Again, it really depends on the lighting, and at that moment, you know, the observation. I mean, it's my first time doing color pencil demo on the like on Instagram. So to be honest, I cannot guarantee it's gonna come out right. But again, keeping it loose and simple. And especially, this penguin is from the aquarium of the Pacific, Long Beach Aquarium, and you know, when you draw a you know, birds or fish from kind of a, you know, tank like this, lots of time there's a tone on the tank and the water, and then the sunlight that comes from, you know, from the sky, from the roof. It's you know, it can get quite complicated, but again, you know, trying to look at it the least complicated, you know, that's kind of our job, you know. I mean, at least my job, the way I look at it. But for me, I don't have much interest in, again, making something too realistic or, you know, too much rendered, because at least for me, then I, you know, I lose the fun of it. You know, I want to play around with the I want to play around with the color. I want to play around with the shape, and you know, more importantly, I really like to play around with the loosen the movement of it, of you know, whatever I'm drawing. Even if when I draw still life, I try to think about the movement. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Oh, one of these blender thing, you know, colorless blender. I use that to kind of, you know, emphasize you know, certain part or value. It becomes really important tool to me, at least. So next, I mean, it's a little tricky, but I think I'm gonna try something right here. Gray tone. And so remember how I blocked the you know, all these lines that I indicated, you know, these lines that I indicated could be something. I mean, so the way I do this is okay. So for me, I'm not, I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm not too interested in the realistic representation of what I'm drawing. I mean, in a way, I am, because you know, it's a figurative work, and I'm looking at the figure I'm drawing, a penguin, but the shapes, and then the unity, and the, you know, and then the composition, you know, as a whole, that to me is more important than you know than the realistic representation of exactly what I'm drawing. But anyways, so oftentimes what I like to do is I would, especially for the darker value, I would tone that down with a dark gray, cool or warm gray, depending on how warm or cool the focal point is. And then I would come back to the same area like what I'm doing with the a color. And then it really depends, I'm not, I don't like using this colorless, blender too often. But sometimes you need to organize the shape and emphasize a focal point or a certain area, an area of interest. And so, it's nicely used for that purpose. Then something else that I find interesting, you may think that the way I'm approach things is, it's kind of random. Sometimes I don't like having too much plan. The loose line in the beginning that indicates the overall shape of the penguin, and then and then this loose shape or line of the surrounding, whatever the surrounding may be. That's good enough to me. So I'm assuming this video is getting much longer than I anticipated, because I had no idea how much time I was gonna it was gonna take me to do this demo. But I intend to finish the whole thing, and then maybe I'll probably share parts of it on Instagram and the full one on YouTube or something like that.